Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about subtraction and one way that you can view it in a closer way and perhaps maybe in a more understandable way. And the way we're going to view subtraction today is through what is called a comparison diagram. When you're subtracting two numbers, you're actually comparing the two numbers and seeing what the difference between them is. So what we're going to do is we're going to read some word problems, and then we're going to fill in parts of the comparison diagram that we know by getting data or information from the word problem. And then we're going to use a number model to figure out how to complete the diagram. So let's get started. I'm going to start with this word problem, number 1. Barb's ribbon is 27 inches long. Cindy's ribbon is 10 inches long. Which ribbon is longer? Okay, so we're not filling in the diagram yet because we still need to answer the question, which ribbon is longer? Barb's is 27 inches long, Cindy's is 10 inches long, so I know that 27 is a greater number than 10. So Barb's ribbon has to be longer, right? So let's write that down right here. Barb's ribbon is longer. Let's write a complete sentence, shall we? We can do that. Not too much work. Okay, so now let's use the information here to fill in or inform the comparison diagram. So we have that Barb's ribbon is 27 inches long, and that would be a quantity. Quantity just means how much. So 27 inches shows how much, essentially, Barb's ribbon is. How much long is it? I know that's not a correct sentence, but you get what I mean. So one quantity would be 27. And you always want to put the larger number in the larger quantity box because remember, when you subtract, your larger number must go first. So we're putting 27 up in the larger box, and we're going to make sure that that's first. That's the first number in our number model. The other quantity I see in this word problem is 10. Cindy's ribbon is 10 inches long. So that's a quantity. So right here, we're going to put 10. Okay. In the directions, it says to use a question mark for the number that I don't know. I don't know the difference because the word problem is not telling me. I have to figure it out myself using a number model and what I've learned about subtraction. So for difference, I'm going to put a question mark because that's the information I don't know. Okay, now let's do the number model. And just a reminder, in subtraction, you do put the larger number first. I know that I say that a lot, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's so important. So 27 goes first. I'm putting minus because we're finding the difference between Barb's ribbon and Cindy's ribbon. What am I going to minus? 10. That's the other quantity. Then I'm going to put an equal sign. Oops. I always push the shift key when I shouldn't. I know that 27 minus 10 is 17. And if you cannot figure that out in your head, just write it down old school. Put 27 at the top, put 10 underneath, and then you're subtracting the ones column and then the tens column, and you'll get the answer 17. And if you forget how to do that, just message me on Class Dojo and I'll remind you how to write a problem old school so you can subtract it more easily. I'd be happy to help you with that. So our difference then, the difference between Barb's ribbon and Cindy's ribbon is 17 inches. That's the difference between the length of the ribbons. So we have compared them by subtracting, and we came up with an answer of 17. So down here it says Barb's ribbon is, and we want to put 17 inches longer than Cindy's. Okie dokes. And we can go ahead and leave that question mark there. You don't have to erase it and write 17 because it's right here. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is a word problem. I think about two different animals, Frisky and Fido. Could be two dogs, could be a dog and a cat. Probably not two cats because I've never heard of a cat named Fido before. And neither has Simon. I asked him and he said no. So this word problem says Frisky lives on the 16th floor. So, oh, they must live in a very tall apartment building. An apartment building has like a bunch of mini houses all pushed together into one building, essentially. That's an apartment. So I'm thinking they're living in an apartment building. Frisky lives on the 16th floor. Fido lives on the 7th floor. Who lives on the higher floor? So when you live in an apartment building, the first floor is the one on the ground. The second floor is on top of the first floor. The third floor is on top of the second floor, and so on. So the higher the numbers are, the higher you get in the apartment building. So the 7th floor is closer to the ground than the 16th floor. So who lives on the higher floor? Frisky lives on the 16th floor, so it's got to be Frisky. So let's write that down. Let's do a complete sentence just for fun, shall we? Lives on the higher floor. Okay. So now we're going to find our two quantities to fill in the quantity boxes. And remember, the big box, inside the big box, you put the bigger quantity, the larger quantity. So which one of these is the larger quantity? 16 or 7? 16, of course. We've compared numbers in the past. We know how to compare numbers now. So we know that that's 16 that goes there. The next quantity in the word problem is 7. So we're going to put 7. Now we're going to find the difference. We're comparing the floors that Frisky and Fido live on, and we're finding the difference between them so that we can compare them. Let's use our number model. Now remember in subtraction, which number goes first? The 16. I always say that with addition too, that the larger number should go first. But that's only because I want you to get in that habit of always putting the larger number first so you don't get confused when you have to do a subtraction problem. So we're comparing, therefore we put a minus sign, and we're minusing the other quantity, which is 7, equals, okay, 16 take away 7, or minus 7. If you have a hard time with that, put 7 in your head and count the rest on your fingers until you reach the number 16. So I know that that is 9. And we're going to add that to our number model line. And, oh, you know what we forgot to do? We forgot to put a question mark for the difference because we did not know the difference until just now. But let's just put that in there because we need to completely fill in this comparison diagram. Okay, so we have compared the numbers. We have found the difference. And now we know that Frisky lives 9 floors higher than Fido. He must not be afraid of heights. Let's put our 9. Okay, so that is how you do your comparison diagrams. And you can see how it more clearly shows you how subtraction works. How it's really just a way to compare two quantities. For your assignment today, for your homework, so to speak, you're also going to do page 138. There's more comparison diagrams. And you're also going to do page, I did say 138, right? Okay. You're going to do page 139 to practice what you have learned so far this year. A little bit of it anyway.